I knew it. Delta's got to figure it out real quick. Now, granted, Alpha figured it out too, but for different reasons. But yeah, I knew the moment that Delta went in there, I'm like, that girl gonna know. That girl gonna figure it out. But yeah, episode 6 of season 2 of Eminence and Shadow. I'll just say I'm of two minds of this episode. On one end, a lot of really good scenes in this episode, kind of just scattered around this entire episode. But additionally, on the other side, a little bit disappointed in having like two really potentially awesome scenes, fight scenes that could have been epic. But unfortunately, as per usual with the series, it's not the most craziest of animations. It's a lot of stills and whatnot. So I was a little bit disappointed in the idea that Delta's fight with Sid and also Alpha's fight with Sid, there just wasn't much being shown. just a lot of, you kind of have to fill in the blanks in there, which really kind of frustrates me. But again, it's par for the course of this series. It's not like they're going too out of their way to make some crazy action scenes. Typically, a lot of these action scenes are kind of kept to certain pinnacle points. And I guess they didn't feel like these were pinnacle points. But yeah, that aside, really enjoyed Sid's scene with Delta. That was absolutely fantastic. Her coming in there and immediately smelling him. And just kind of shifting really quickly into this little goofy little moment with Delta just being a goofball, trying to figure out what to do next. Because yes, she's ordered to come here. And Sid's like, no, you can't tell anybody. You can't tell anybody. It's going to ruin everything. It's a super secret mission. You can't tell Alpha. And she's like, wait, I got to tell Alpha. But don't worry, because my orders go above her. So it works out in the end. Just go take out Juggernauts. I love how all this stuff is happening right now with the story. And in the meantime, over here, pretty much Delta is leveling an entire city because she doesn't even know what she's looking for. She's like a Jugga or something like that. She doesn't even know who she's going to fight. So I'm assuming that Delta is just completely leveling the city. So I don't know. Maybe we're going to come back and the Lawless City, or at least that section where Juggernaut's supposed to be at, is just completely gone. The after credit scene kind of implied the idea that she's completely leveled the place. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe Juggernaut will be dead. I don't know. Juggernaut may or may not be dead. It could just be that the entire place is destroyed and Juggernaut's like over here going, what the hell happened? But this kind of goes to my point in the last episode's impressions, is I got this frustration about the fact that obviously Sid Shadow is going up against Shadow Garden. He's pretty much ruining what they've kind of created, and it's to teach them a lesson, but at the same time to kind of build his own thing. Like, I'm going to create my own thing and then I'll make them head of it. But the frustration that comes there is the idea that, yes, he's technically fighting back against them. And it's kind of trying to keep it into a comical sense here. Like the idea of Delta showing up and she's like, oh my gosh, Master, what are we doing? I gotta go tell Alpha. Oh, okay, it's a super secret mission. Let me go kill Jugga. And yes, technically there's like this hint of jokes being made around the idea that they think that Delta's dead. Like the idea that Sid's like, oh no, I sent her off to a far off place. She's somewhere far off. And then Beta's there going, yes, that's right, Shadow. She's far away, somewhere else in the afterlife, basically. They're trying to make jokes about it, but it is kind of sad in the idea that, yeah, you have Alpha and she's completely broken by this. She's super mad thinking that Delta's dead. She's going after John Smith, and at the same time, she's figuring out that it's Shadow as well. And then she's absolutely infuriated because what they've sort of established in this entire story is this idea that Shadow, from the very beginning, thought that they were all humoring him. Like, they don't really believe this stuff. I made this stuff up, and they're just like people in my past life where they don't really believe in it. They all think that I'm just a chuny. But yes, Shadow Garden has taken it seriously, and they are doing things seriously. And so when Alpha finally runs into Shadow, she thinks that he's just doesn't care about them anymore. You don't need me. I'm not powerful enough. I want to be able to help you. Please tell me, explain things to me. But the sad thing is how serious Alpha is about this. Like, she's absolutely heartbroken. This guy that saved my life, gave me purpose in life. I built this thing for him. And now he's over here as John Smith, discarding the name Shadow and doing his own thing, and he won't tell me what he's doing so I can help him. And it's kind of tragic. It's stupid, funny, tragic. And it hurts me at the same time because I think this is just the thing that I've always hated about the series, how he doesn't care anything about Shadow Garden, yet they love him to death. But it's like that expression of Alpha herself and the idea of, I just want to understand, and you're just telling me it'll all be clear in the end. I want to help you. I hope it doesn't turn into pretty much what they're already doing with Rose, or technically Alexia. This idea of them feeling inferior and just want to get stronger so that they can stand side by side with Shadow. They keep getting left behind, and so they assume it's because they're not strong enough. Like, I can't be reliable to Shadow, so that's why he's leaving me behind. That's why he doesn't need me. She says something to the effect of like, this won't be like this forever. I won't keep dragging you down. And then she just goes crazy and then just gets beat up, obviously. But I don't know, we'll see. But it's still super tragic if you think about it. How this girl just wants to do everything for him, and yet he's now destroying what they've built for him. It kind of goes in that whole area of like, if you really sit down and think about it, these girls have spent their whole life for him, and he doesn't ever really reciprocate it, and he doesn't acknowledge anything they're doing. And in this moment, he's literally destroying that. Like, we've been building this up. Hey, what do you think of this? He comes in for a brief moment, then leaves, and then later on, he's coming in to destroy it, and they're like, but we built this for you. What are you doing? Like, the moment that this all falls apart, our whole life spent doing this for you is wasted. Again, it's like, if you really think about it, it's so dumb. It's so dumb, and that's why it infuriates me. But they'll make it into a punchline in the end. Obviously, they'll make it into a punchline at the end. I would like... Please, I have one massive request, and to the light novel readers, don't answer this because I don't really care to know. Writer, please, make it to where Shadow Garden actually makes Mitsugoshi win in a situation. Like, in the end, Mitsugoshi wins and proves Shadow wrong. There needs to be a point in which these girls show Shadow that they're worth something and that their life's work wasn't meaningless. Anyways, yes, outside of that stuff, all that turmoil, them all thinking Delta's dead, but yet Delta's over here destroying an entire city, apparently. We have Yukime and Shadow's whole thing is coming to fruition. They took all the money from the Alliance. The Alliance is mad. They're setting up checkpoints. Checkpoints are getting destroyed. And additionally, Yukime tells her life story, and I don't even think Shadow even cared. As per usual, John Smith doesn't care. But here's where I'm kind of curious, because Yukime goes in to explain this idea that, oh yeah, by the way, I told you before, but this is my purpose. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't want money. I don't want this wealth. I'm doing it for this reason. And apparently all stems back when the Beast folks in the past all were pretty much fighting because Shiva died. I don't know if they ever implied that Shadow killed Shiva. I would assume so, because it's probably the same time frame. He probably killed Shiva. I don't remember. But all the clans were fighting to see which one was going to be the top dog. And the Spirit Fox clan, being pretty much like the weakest, was at their mercy. They end up joining up with the Great Wolves, and in order to create this bond, they gave up Yukime to Geton. So there's where we finally pull in Geton. And Geton was somebody that she looked up to, but at some point, is how she explains it, is that a nearby clan battle was happening and their town got caught up in it. So everybody was wiped out. So it implies here, despite the fact that what they kind of implied before, that Geton killed everybody. No, this was a faction war. Like, the clans themselves were warring and they got caught in the middle. Now, the thing that does make it right that she wants to take down Geton is that at some point Geton shows up and says, hey, I was trying to get them to get stronger. I offered him this pill, which he probably obviously got from the cult, and he wanted to give them this pill that would give them strength. And nobody accepted it because Yukime's mother said no, and everybody else followed suit. So it does technically imply the idea that he at least killed her mother, because he said, oh yeah, I did that. It's like, he just like openly says, oh, your mom? Yeah, I killed your mom. She's the one that said no. That made me angry or something. So what I don't get with this whole scene is that it's implying this idea that these other clans were fighting, her village was destroyed, and in the process, he comes over and kills her mom. Like, I could have got us strong enough to fight this and take from them like they're taking from us, but she said no. So in the midst of this other clan's fighting, I killed your mom. What I'm getting to is that it's implying that he didn't destroy the entire clan, just her mom. But yet it's making it out like Yukime wants to take everything from him like he took everything from them. Yes, it could be that he betrayed the entire clan in order to get stronger. It could be an aspect of wanting to get stronger. But my frustration is that for a brief moment, it was giving me a sense that there's something more to Geton than just, I wanted to get stronger. In the end, it does look like that's the case. I wanted to get stronger. I wanted our clan to get stronger. I offered them this pill. The cult said it would make us stronger, and they denied it. And we need to get stronger because we need to take from them like they're taking from us. But our clan rejected me, so I took everything from the clan. That's where the logic breaks for me. I mean, you can just chop it up as the pills make him crazy. He went crazy because the power that was given to him. But no, Geton is very logical. He's not fully logical. I mean, he's slicing people in half because he gets angry about some report, but he at least seems like he has some semblance of intelligence in there. So to chop up their history as, I want to protect this clan, I want us to get stronger and rise up, but they said no, so I killed them all. What logic is in that? I guess, again, you can either chop it up as just insanity, or you can chop it up as what sort of Delta already set up for us before. When Delta was talking to Shadow, she said to the effect of, I killed my brother because he's weak. Our clan doesn't like weak people. So maybe they have the same thought process in their clan, is the idea that, yes, all of you are weak. Which I can definitely see from Geton's perspective, if that town itself is the Spirit Foxes. He came to the Spirit Fox town, and this wasn't a town of both groups. He came to the Spirit Fox town and said, you're weak. I offered you power. You didn't take that power. So thus, I got rid of you. Just like Delta said that technically their clan does go by. So I guess I kind of explain it to myself. If that's the case, again, it's not clear enough, but that's what I can probably draw the conclusion of. Since they won't tell me, I'll figure it out. Or a light novel reader will say in the comments. But yeah, because of this whole thing, she sold herself into prostitution on the battlefields, eventually got to a lot of the city, built herself up an entire conglomeration in order to find Geton. Because apparently you need to build up a large corporation to just go find him. You need connections, so obviously you got to do all that stuff. But yeah, it just kind of builds up more and more in the idea that I hope that here soon we can have that fight. I'm sure it'll be, hopefully, a really good fight. And we had one last scene. Yes, we had one last scene, and that was the sisters. Now, this was an interesting scene because at first, when I first kind of was watching through the scene, I felt it was kind of a throwaway scene. It was kind of just show how Alexia has changed her mindset, which is obvious. Alexia went through this whole previous fight where she didn't feel like she was included in anything. She couldn't be included in things. She got frustrated. She wasn't strong enough. She didn't have the connections, and she felt useless. She couldn't help Bros. She couldn't help her sister. She couldn't help her nation. But it's interesting because in the very beginning of the scene, it's kind of pointing out the idea that why does she have a bunch of books in her hand? You're supposed to get stronger. Why aren't you training your sword? Even it says that. Like, why are you doing this? You don't need to be picking up books. You need to pick up your sword. But Alexia's got a good mindset here in the idea that she's thinking, okay, well, I'm studying all these different categories. I want to know finance. I want to know all this stuff so that I can be in that position to use my sword. There's no point in me having the sword and not knowing how to use it. But if I at least understand what I'm getting into, I know when to draw my sword, which I think is a very good message there. You can have power, but if you don't know how to use that power in the right situation, or if you don't know how to use that power for the right cause, you're useless. And I like that because it's not just increasing my respect for Alexia's character, like it's making her a smart character, somebody that knows they're doing and knows what's important. She's still training her sword, but at the same time, she's also getting smarter so that she knows when to use it. And the cool thing that comes from this is Itis, what she sees from this whole situation. She is technically in that mindset that it's just kind of use power. That was kind of how they wrapped up the first season. She was just full of rage, just destroying everything. I need to get to Shadow. I need to destroy Shadow. She was very one-track mind. And it infuriated her that she lost. She thought she had everything. She was completely embarrassed in front of everybody, and her power meant nothing in the end. And this could be a good way for at least Alexia to kind of eclipse her sister. Like, I will get stronger and know when to use it, whereas all you're focused on is strength, and it's going to be nothing for you in the end. It's sort of Alexia showing her sister how she needs to correct her path, that brute strength is not going to be anything in the end. Now, I don't think she's accepting it right now. She literally just walks by and just doesn't even say anything. And I think that sometime in the future, she's going to run into that problem again where she's not going to be strong enough and that she wasn't able to fix anything. And I think that's when her sister's going to be there to guide her on another path. Again, very simple scene, but there seemed to be a lot of context in there about what is strength, what is power, and what good is it without knowledge. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 6. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to see all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. And y'all take care.